McMahon and Ms. Wilridge, in your previous appearance in our courtroom, you learned your deceased dad had kept a secret from you your entire lives.
Yes, Your Honor.
It turns out that he had cheated on your mother, and you discovered that a good friend of yours was actually your biological sister.
Yes, Your Honor.
Today, you're back because you say your father may have had an affair with yet another woman.
Correct, Your Honor.
We'll soon learn if her son is your biological brother.
Yes.
Miss Swan, you're the woman who claims to have had an affair with their father. You admit that you kept it a secret because he was a married man.
Yes, Your Honor.
You believe your son was a result of that relationship and he is indeed their brother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your son, Mr. Williams, is waiting outside of the courtroom and we'll meet him in just a moment. Ms. McMahon, how did you find out that you may have a brother you never knew of?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, back in 1999, I was shown a picture. I was at someone that we considered a cousin because we were so close growing up. We were at their house and I was shown a picture of a little boy. I think he probably had to be about 7 at that time. I was told that it was my brother. I looked at the picture, but I didn't see any resemblance. So at that time, I just passed it off as something that they were trying to say, and I never thought about it again. But in 2001, there was someone that showed up at my mom's house, and he claimed to be my dad's son. And at that particular time, I was not at the house at the time, but my other sisters and my mom got a chance to meet and talk to him. And my sister Gloria was there, and she actually got a chance to meet him.
Yes,
You
Your Honor.
did. Ms. Wilridge, explain what happened on that day.
Well, a few days before we did see him, my sister had said, well, we think possibly this guy could be your brother. So the next few days, he came over to my oldest sister's house, and he met my oldest sister and my mom, and I kind of hung in the back a little bit, and then I went out and I greeted him. When I first seen him, he didn't have any similarities of my father. So they sat and we talked a while in the living room, and we had a little conversation, and he left. And from then on, I just kind of let it go. It didn't really come back to me until, you know, just now.
And in your mind, your parents were a happily married couple.
That's
That's
right.
what you knew.
That's
Well,
right.
well, ma'am, Your Honor, we were young. We knew that there were problems, but we were too young to understand the full spectrum of what had been going on. We have heard that he could have been sleeping with another woman, but we didn't know about Miss Swan.
Miss Swan,
Yes, Your Honor.
so you did have a relationship with their father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know he was married?
Yes, Your Honor, because when we first met one another, he told me he was married.
But why would you still mess with a
And
married
I
man?
told-
Why would you do that?
And
That
not only was he a married man, but you were also messing with the guy that you knew was messing with your neighbor,
friend, your
and that was your
neighbor.
friend, you know. And that was just like, you sleeping behind with a married man, and you sleeping behind your friend's man or your neighbor man. Why would you do such a thing as being a woman?
But see, I know he was married, but I didn't know he was sleeping around with no other woman or nothing.
But
All that didn't come up in
well,
no
you said when
conversation.
the relationship started, you did know he was married.
Yeah, he told me he was married.
Okay, and you
And
still.
so
Decided
then
to have-
a sexual relationship developed.
Not at the first. Not
Okay.
at the first.
Explain, how did it turn into a sexual relationship?
Way
With you.
a good while. It was a long time before we had any relationship. I say about a month passed or something like that. It passed, and that's what after
a
that.
month. So do you feel bad for what you've done to a family, a wife, a good wife,
A good wife.
wife who cooked, cleaned, took care of her kids? Do you feel any remorse for what you've done,
Knowing that he was married.
knowing that he was married?
That part didn't even bother me.
Yeah.
And you was of age
that's
where it
why
should have,
you're
you know,
not
you're not-
a
wasn't a
woman,
child.
You were just low
So-
down and dirty and trifling.
So
that's
hold
what
on.
you were, and apparently you still are that way if you don't have no remorse for what you've done.
Hold on, Miss Swan. You said that part didn't bother you.
No, the reason I said that is because once, okay, you told, a married man told you he was married. Okay, I didn't keep on after the man.
But as a woman,
you could
you
say
knew
no.
he was married.
And
you
I
could have
ju-
turned away.
You could even told my
If you
mom,
were decent,
hey,
you would have
he's
said
trying
no
to
to
talk
So,
to me.
Miss Swan, how many years did this affair last?
Year and a half.
About a
Oh,
year and a half.
Ma'am, I don't know. You go from one extreme to the other because from what I've heard was 29 years. I heard 10 years. Now it's a year and a half. You have to make up your mind as to how long
I
this
know the
affair
affair
lasted.
was.
And I don't know.
The affair lasted a while, that's all I can say. Because I can't remember the years and how long it was. I don't remember none of that.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So you attempted to name your son after their father.
Right.
Well, you didn't attempt, you did. You named him Ellis.
Right.
And that was their father's name.
Right.
And so when was the last time you saw their father?
The last time I saw their father, he left my house and he got towards the driveway. And he got out of his car and told me he'll see me in heaven. And that was the end of it. That's the last time I seen him.
He'd see you in heaven.
Well, I don't think y'all gonna
And-
be in heaven. If,
Yeah.
I don't think. And you saying you're not remorseful? I don't
And the
think you're
thing
gonna
is-
meet. Y'all meet somewhere, but it won't be in heaven.
Yeah, and I think that the thing was that he was kind of feeling remorseful for the things that he was doing, and that's why he kind of like
And so,
up living.
in what proximity was the last time you saw him till when he passed away?
That night,
That night.
because that night when he left my house, a friend of mine came by and told me he was dead.
Well, he didn't die at night.
my dad
He
was found
he was
deceased at
deceased
5:30 in the
yes.
morning.
Oh, well.
My mom was getting up to fix him breakfast, and she thought that he was just staying there, sleeping in.
Well,
and when
I
she
ain't
went to
know
go
that.
wake him up and tell him that breakfast was ready, my dad had passed. I think it came to him to where he was emotionally drained. That's what some of his friends was telling us, like he was emotionally drained and he felt that his time was up.
Yes, I just believe that all of his busy work had really gotten to
It
him.
caught up with him.
It caught up to him.
So, Miss Swan, did your son ever meet the man you say is his father?
No,
Never met him.
no.
And so you're destroying more lives. You
Yeah.
pretty much let him
So
meet his
how
dad.
old-
that you
I
claim to be his dad.
I didn't stop him from not meeting his daddy.
Okay, so Miss Swan, I have to ask you, and this is respectfully, but were you intimate with anyone else during the time you were intimate with their father, where there could potentially be another biological father of your son?
Not that no ma'am.
Well, Your Honor, she's saying no, but if she's sleeping with a married man, she didn't think enough to be respectful of herself and sleep with a married man. I can guarantee you that there may be more men if she's
Let's
sleeping with
bring
married
out
men
your son.
and thinking that it's
Jerome,
okay
will
to do
you please
so.
escort Mr. Williams into the courtroom? Thank you.
You go right up here on the left.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
thank you so much for joining us today. You know, we're here discussing, of course, the very sensitive subject surrounding your paternity and the plaintiff's late father. It is asserted that he is perhaps your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we asked your mother, had you ever had an opportunity to meet this man?
I remember certain things of him, but I don't remember too much. I remember the van that he had, and I remember riding in this van and some noises they used to make with the little horns and everything. But
My dad fixed on cars and he used to modify all his vehicles. That was one of his things. He used to build things very handy person. So that van, that big green van, you're right.
Yes.
So the van he's speaking
that is
of,
correct.
it was your father's.
Yes.
When you look at Mr. Williams,
Wow.
do you see your father?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And you know, Your Honor, I can't really tell you how I feel about it because in a point,
I know.
Well,
hon.
Your Honor, I would just like to say that
I'm angry that she had an affair.
that he had an affair on my mom because that's the only person that hurt here. But at the same time, when he came in 2001, my mom accepted him. She said that that was not his fault.
Yeah, she was
You
just
know,
like he was
she
innocent
accepted
child.
him
She was
because
okay with
she
it.
said he was innocent in his whole thing. I've never gotten a chance to meet him.
Yeah, and that's a shame because we had to grow. We grew up without, and we're 30-something years old. We already done lost a sister, and now, you know, we
finding
have to
all of
have
this
a
information
relationship now
out.
and start right now. And there's too much time that already done been passed, you know, and it's not our fault.
It's,
No, it isn't.
it's
We didn't
not.
know, and it's not his
Mr.
fault.
Williams, did you ever have the chance to bond or to find a connection with your late father?
I always talk to him in my head. I used to go to his gravesite and sit there a lot.
You did.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So you went to his grave.
Yeah, I went a lot.
So this was, I'm sure, very emotional. Did your mother go with you?
Nah, not at the times I was going.
Did she know you were going?
Yeah, I done told her a couple times.
And that would help you feel closer to him?
Yeah, like I say, I always talk to him in my head, and you know, I know it's someone up there watching over me. So.
And they say you look like their father. Do you believe you look like?
My mother used to tell me that all the time, but I don't remember his face or nothing.
You don't remember his face?
He
Have
got
you
his
ever
mouth.
seen a picture of him?
No, ma'am.
He has
You've
his
never-
ears for
He
sure.
has his
In
ears, his
32
mouth.
years? You've never in 32 years seen a picture of your father?
Wow. You robbed him. You really did.
Yes, I did, because I didn't have no pictures of him, and that was my fault, because on one of my faults, because I didn't take no picture of him, but he never did like taking no pictures. He never did like
But
taking
you
no
could
pictures.
at least came to us. You knew who my mom was. You knew who the people was.
I didn't
Even
know
though it
your
was a
mama. I did not know your mama.
You knew my mama. You knew my mama face. You done seen my mama. You done been in her company, and
I probably been in her company, but I didn't know that's who it
You knew
was.
how to get in touch with us. You could have got in touch with us. You know what I'm saying? Even though it seemed like it wasn't a mistake to you, you don't feel any remorse for it, but you could have been like, there's a possibility more than what he done. He came to us.
So as you stand there and the plaintiffs look at you and say you look just like their father, would you like to see a picture of the man that you believe is your father?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMahon, Ms. Wilridge, is that okay?
That's
Because you
fine.
submitted
That's
one to
fine.
the court.
He needs to.
He needs to.
Okay.
Look at that mouth.
Look at the ears.
Look at the ears.
You see yourself in that picture?
I don't think so. I really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. He probably don't. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot to soak in, but I do.
How do you feel?
It's the first time. It's a lot going on inside of me right now.
Yeah, it has to be. You know.
I wish she was here,
Yeah.
but it's nothing that I could take from her for what she done for me. You know, she bent over backwards for anything that I needed or wanted.
And as a mother, that's what she was supposed to do.
Jerome, I think it's time we go to the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. It has been determined by this court that you are half siblings.
He knew it. Now he needs to go get his name changed. He's a junior. He's the only boy.
The only boy.
The only boy
that we know of.
So how does it feel today, Mr. Williams?
It's a lot lifted off of me. Now I know for sure, you know, and I really would like to have a copy of that picture.
Absolutely.
All of the pictures that we have, we can make you copies. I can put them on CD for you, everything.
Yeah.
And we want you to come by.
Yeah.
We want you to keep in contact. We want everything.
I get to have somebody to pick on. Don't you know I've been picked on for so many years? I get to have somebody to pick on.
But not by me.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Well, family, this was such a wonderful ending.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you.
Yes.
Take care. Court is adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Miles, you say growing up you thought the man you believe is your biological father was dead.
Yes, Your
Until
Honor.
3 years ago when you discovered he was alive. You reached out to him only to have your heart broken when he denied being your dad. You and your mother are here to prove that Mr. Fullilove, whom you have never met, is your father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fullilove and his wife are here today. Are you ready to see him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Fullilove and his wife in?
Yes, Your Honor. Hello, folks.
So, Ms. Miles, your whole childhood, you believed your father was deceased. Explain.
My mom told me Mr. Fullilove was my father at an early age. And the rumor in the town that we grew up in said that Mr. Fullilove was deceased. And that's what I was led to believe because my mom hadn't seen him since she said he seen me when I was born. So I believed he was deceased.
How did you find out he was alive?
A friend of the family, we ran into each other at the store. He heard the rumor that Mr. Fullilove was deceased. So we talked about Mr. Fullilove, and he said him and Mr. Fullilove are friends. So he gave me Mr. Fullilove's number, and we tried to reach Mr. Fullilove on numerous occasions, text messages, calls, voicemails, pictures, and I didn't hear from Mr. Fullilove.
And so, how long does it take you to actually get in touch with him?
Almost 3 years.
And so for 3 years, you're just, waiting every day, wondering, is this the day he's gonna call me back?
Yes, Sharon, I have a Facebook post on the night he called. I posted on Facebook prior to him calling. Well, I called him first, and he called me back 20 minutes later after I made the Facebook post. May I read a little bit of it?
Absolutely.
It says, as tears wet my pillow, all I can do is dwell on my father, whom I've never met. You have no idea how broken I am inside due to your absence. You have no idea how I had to confide in me and who abandoned me. You have no idea what it was like watching all my siblings meet their biological father, all except for me. I may not ever meet you, but I still love you, Pops.
So that's so beautiful.
And so you wrote that.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you get a call back.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you speak to him for the first time, how does that feel?
It was a relief. It was a relief because, like, I never thought it would happen. It had been so long. Like, I never thought it would happen because we tried to reach him a lot of times.
He don't do Facebook, so.
Okay, and so
he wouldn't
Mr.
have saw that.
Fullilove, what made you finally call back and why did it take 3 years?
When I did get it, you know, it devastated me also, you know.
Really?
And it devastated me
Really? I even called you several times myself. He knew. The friend that my daughter is referring to came to me and said Jesse called him and told him, why did you give that woman my number?
That was 25 years later, though, right?
Because of my wife is a Christian and she might not like this. Okay, your wife is a Christian. This happened 25 years ago. He wasn't even married to this woman. So if his wife is the perfect Christian, she should accept my daughter because I'm 1,000% sure that he is her father.
And so, can you take me back? I want to understand the nature
It
of
ain't
your
the thing about
relationship.
accepting her and the perfect Christian. You know what I'm saying? I didn't believe it.
I want to
okay?
understand the nature
we
of
gonna-
your
The Christian
relationship.
thing to do
It's
is
gonna
you don't
come
just
out in the
grab
open
people's
today
kids.
that she
just,
is
you
his
know,
daughter.
You know, because they say they pregnant, especially when I hear that she's a promiscuous woman,
What?
had a
Yeah.
boyfriend, already had a baby.
You know what?
So why?
I was
we gonna
permissive
believe
to
this
your
one is
husband.
ours?
He enjoyed it every night.
That's all
Okay,
right.
hold on.
I heard it was one night. I heard it was one night.
Okay, then.
I heard it was
Okay.
one night.
Okay, so
Check it
now
out.
can you take me back to the nature of this relationship?
Of course. Me and his only son, his only child at the moment, were best friends in junior high school.
You were best friends with his son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And my son had just passed away when I.
I'm talking, okay?
No,
First of all,
no, baby. Oh, no, baby.
His
That don't go
son,
like
was,
that.
his son was killed by a train.
Yeah, my son had just passed away.
Jesse came into town for the funeral, and I was standing on the corner, me and two other friends, we were dancing. Mr. Jesse, stopped her. And I was dancing, and he told me, can you bag it up? And I broke it down. He gave me his cell phone number, and 2 or 3 weeks later, I was in bed with this man. So where the one night come from? No.
Well,
I was with him
The
nightly.
one night came from
I
him.
was with him nightly.
And you slept with your best friend's father?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. Many of times. Many of times.
Your Honor.
You didn't come here to lie.
Many of times.
Okay. So you slept with your best friend's father
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
after your best friend's funeral?
3 weeks after, to be exact.
Mr. Fullilove, do you remember asking Miss Miles to back it up?
Well, she was backing it up now.
Exactly.
She was backing.
So you remember that?
She was backing up and dropping it down.
Oh!
Sure was.
Oh!
She was
Sure
backing
was.
up and dropping it
And
down.
I had your nose wide open when I was bagging it up and dropping it
She was
down.
backing up and dropping it down.
And so you just had to give in at some point.
I did give in.
Okay.
But only one night, right?
And so how many times did you give in?
One time, Your Honor. One time. But not only this, she had a boyfriend.
Sure did. Sure did.
And I found out she already had a
Sure
baby.
did. Yes, I did. And you knew all of this.
No, I didn't.
You knew all of this, and you kept right on sleeping.
So wait a minute.
I ain't know she had no baby, Your Honor.
Wait. So Ms. Miles, this is important though.
She already had a baby.
Hold on. If you had a boyfriend, but you were also sleeping with Mr. Fullilove, why do you believe Mr. Fullilove is your child's
Yeah, where he
biological
at?
father?
Where he at?
Yeah.
Well, he's dead. But
Oh,
I
I'm
know
sorry. I didn't
who
know that,
made
but yeah.
Kendall.
But I'm
Yeah,
saying,
but where
did you
he-
also tell this other man before his passing that he could be your daughter's biological father?
No.
And
when
why?
When Kendall was born,
Right.
he looked at Kendall. He said, Evelyn, he said, Kendall is not mine because she is too dark.
But we know we can't go off of skin tone.
And at that
We know that.
time,
You can't
at
go
that
back-
time, Your Honor, me and him had
And
stopped
if,
seeing
and if we
each other.
gonna go by skin tone,
Me- at
she
that
ain't the
time, Your Honor,
same
me and him
skin
had
tone
stopped
as he
seeing each
is.
other. Me and Jesse was together every night. Jesse stayed in Crenshaw over a year. And
Oh,
yes, you
Lord
did.
have mercy.
Over a year. The whole year
No,
that
she
he was
wasn't-
there,
she
Your Honor,
wasn't-
we slept
She
together.
wasn't born then.
But I mean, listen,
You saw her pregnant
this
then.
has been a 25-year long
And I knew about her.
Issue.
She ain't tell me.
Your Honor, don't make me
you
do
would've
you up
saw
in
her
this court.
pregnant.
Do me up in here.
You are lying. You are lying.
Do me up.
Kendall was only 2 months old. Me and my mother was sitting on my porch. You came over there. Is that my baby? And I told you yes. And he rolled off into the sunset.
You think I would left my? You think I would left my
you
baby?
did. You did.
Think I would left my baby?
You didn't even hold her. You looked
I
at
know
her.
I didn't.
Is this my baby?
I ain't never saw her.
And you ran off, and we haven't seen you until today.
Right, I ain't never saw
And
her.
so, Ms. Miles, as you
I ain't
say
never
that,
saw
I
her.
can see that brings tears to
It
your eyes.
does, because he's sitting up here denying her.
I ain't
He
denying
had
her.
a chance, Your Honor. Had just lost a son.
Yeah.
You had a daughter. And you know Kendall yours.
And you say you remember the day he came
Yes.
up to the house.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And I did a good job at raising Kendall without your help.
I didn't know she had no kids, Your Honor.
You said you did earlier now.
But hold on, Mr. Fullilove. Do you remember the day you pulled up on her mother's house?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
No, I
so
don't.
is it your testimony that after having a sexual relationship with this young woman, you never even knew she was pregnant?
Never.
You never knew Kendall was born?
Never.
And you were never notified until that day Kendall reached out to you.
I'm so glad she did.
Yeah. Your Honor.
No, we need to find out.
Your Honor.
Can we find out?
I need to find
please?
Kendall was going through something, and she talked to me for maybe an hour, and she pulled her heart out.
And
to me.
you still was not a father to her. You missed birthdays,
We don't know.
graduation.
We don't know.
Birthday of
Let
your
us find
grandson.
out.
He knew. He knew.
If she,
All right, I've heard enough. I've heard enough.
Good.
I'm sitting here now looking at Kendall. Miss Miles, I know this is difficult for you, and this is a lot for you to hear. This is a lot.
Yes, it is.
And I mean, for a young woman who's waited so long to meet the man that she's been told her entire life is her biological father, and then have to endure listening to this testimony, I know that's not easy. Can you look at Mr. Fullilove? And I want you to tell him what you needed as a young woman. And just listen, Mr. Fullilove.
I needed you to be there. I didn't have no male figure there. I needed you, I needed your presence. I needed your voice. I needed your touch. I just needed you to be there physically. Because my mom, she was there, but there wasn't enough. It still was a void in my life. And that's why I kept on praying, and I just kept on having faith that one day this day would come to pass. And I'm glad it's here, because I need to be relieved. I want to be free. And I need you. My son needs you.
got a son?
Yes. You missed a lot. It's been 25 years. I'm an adult now. It's been rough. It's been a long time coming.
Why your mother didn't reach out to me?
I don't know.
She said I was your father.
Your Honor, I called this man, left voice messages on his phone. Can you remember this? I called
You
him.
ain't called me no 50.
Yeah, I called you,
years ago.
Jesse, several times.
You don't know. No,
I had
You can
some
have
of
no
your
number.
friends searching for his mother. Come to find out that she had died.
One at a
I
time.
did try to find you. Yes, I did. And I shouldn't have to try to find you if you had stepped in when she was 2 months old and got you a DNA if you was in doubt that Kendall was yours.
But Miss Miles,
I
I also
didn't know
have
you-
to ask you.
I didn't know you had no other kid. Did I know
Mr.
you?
Fullilove,
Did I know you have another
Mr.
kid?
Fullilove,
Yes.
Mr. Fullilove, I run this court.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I mean,
That's all right. I have a lot of testosterone, I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry.
I look, I get it.
Young, I'm sorry.
It doesn't bother me. All I want you to do is be quiet.
Well, will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Miles, I have to ask you respectfully. There was another guy. There was a boyfriend. So how do you know Mr. Fullilove is your daughter's biological father? It can't just be by that young man looking at her and going, you know what, this baby's not mine. We can't go off of that.
I know who got me pregnant. I know where it was,
We don't need no DNA.
the date and everything. So you just be quiet.
We don't need no DNA.
Yeah, just be quiet. Well, we need one.
So-
Because I don't want you to have any doubts.
I've heard enough testimony. I mean, the real truth is, you know, Mr. Fullilove, 25 years have gone by and this young woman has been told, right or wrong, all her life that you were her biological father, but the majority of the time they thought you had passed away.
Ain't that?
What are your hopes for today?
I hope that Kendall's my daughter.
You
I really do. Because she's a beautiful young lady.
Yes, I did. Great.
She is.
Sure did.
Judge,
That she is.
I did. I did a beautiful job with her
think you-
by myself.
Yeah, if he the father, you did do it by you did.
I do
a
it by
beautiful job.
myself.
And so, hold on. What are your hopes, Kendall?
I hope that he is my father so that I can have closure and we can build a relationship after all this time and just go from there.
All right. I feel like I've heard enough testimony. It's time we get the results.
Get the results.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fullilove, you are the father.
That's your daughter.
That is your
And she's a
beautiful, beautiful
lady.
daughter.
It's nice to meet you, Miss Kendall.
Nice to meet
You're
you.
a beautiful lady. Can I get a hug? Get a hug.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Beautiful. Oh.
Thank you, Judge.
We apologize, Miss Miles.
It's accepted.
It's accepted. Could we get a hug? Because we're going to have to be cordial. We're going to have to be cordial.
You did a great job. I'm sorry.
I accept your apology.
That was wonderful. Thank you for that moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And so, Ms. Miles, how does it feel?
Oh, it feels awesome. I got a dad.
Oh. I love that.